All right, guys, welcome to week 5 of psychic sensitivity training through mindfulness. This week we're going to go into really communicating with our bodies, because a lot of the work that we're going to do psychically or mediumistically we're going to have to do it while we're in our bodies. And a lot of times while we're building these abilities, we get so excited that we're like all outside of our bodies, like searching for all the information instead of letting it come to us. So we're going to start by just expanding a little bit on some of the tools that we've already got, just to grow them a little bit, and then move into really how to get in touch with your body. And we'll do an exercise for that as well. So I'm going to share my screen here. For anybody who, is watching later on, if you want to get these handouts, just go to week 5 in the study guide for psychic sensitivity and mindfulness, or it might be under mindfulness and psychic sensitivity. But it's in the study guide section on Divination website. All right, so this is something that was really helpful for me along my journey, because we don't realize how powerful our words are. And we have all of these limiting beliefs that are preventing us from getting there, but we don't even realize they're automatic, right? And then so we have the belief, and then our thoughts confirm or cement that belief. So we can use that in the opposite way too, almost like affirmations. Starting the day with a little prayer or something, like whatever you feel comfortable calling it. It doesn't even have to be a prayer. It could just be a little thought that you send out to your guides or something like that. But this is one of my favorite ones because it addresses all of the things. So I just wanted to share this one with you guys. So, and I will say this in my mind almost every time before I start to do any type of psychic or mediumship work. This is how I get out of my own way, because a lot of this type of work is going to be figuring out how to get your own stuff, your own belief system. So your own BS, I heard somebody call it, which I just love, because that's what it is, right? We are 100% limitless. We are souls, right? And this will help us get back to that truth. We can get stuck on the human story, right? The ego tries to keep us stuck on the human story. But if we can get back to becoming one with that light inside of us, that light that we all come from, we become whole, and all of this gets so much easier. So in order to get out of our own way, you could say something like this. And this could be before meditations, before readings, just starting your day, whatever feels right for you. I release all cords and attachments, thoughts, feelings, emotions, doubts, fears, and beliefs that do not serve me. I release any and all energy that is not for my best and highest good. And I command that all is released now. And then you're going to do that and take a deep breath, blowing all of that away. You're going to actually feel it melting off of you. You can always call in your guides or deities or angels, whoever you're working with, to help with this process as well. Or just to help support you, just to stand with you, whatever feels right to you. Then to even go a step further, right? We know how to ground, we know how to protect, we know all these things, but nobody talks about calling back your energy, right? So there's this saying that I just love because it is just so true. Have you ever thought about somebody and then they call, or like out of nowhere, they pop into your head and then they show up somewhere? Like there's a saying, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And that is so true. That's why we are aware of all of these things. So when our mind is all scattered, there's different fragments of us wherever our thoughts are. So a good practice would be to call all of that energy back to yourself. So you could then say, I call back my energy and power from all corners, people, places, and situations that have been draining, siphoning, or stealing it from me, consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally, from all realms, worlds, and directions of time. I am safe, sovereign, and protected. At this time, this is when you can invoke an angel, a deity, or any other being that you choose to work with. For example, some might choose Archangel Michael or Metatron to balance, clear, and protect your energy. But you can use anybody that you feel comfortable with. So does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, that's pretty simple. And guys, let me know too, like if you start doing it and you're noticing a difference, like you're more out of the way for readings and that type of thing, definitely let me know. Because I feel like I had that experience. I'm curious if anybody else can relate to that.
I just called my energy back for like the first time the other day,
Yeah.
and it was powerful. It was raining, and I was just drawn to go outside and like clear myself, draw my energy back, and put some intentions out there. And it was during a rainstorm, during the lunar eclipse on the full moon, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna embrace this. And it had slowed down to just like a little drizzle. And as I was doing it, and like it was very calm while I was clearing and grounding, of course, first. But as I was calling my energy back to me and I had my hands up, and everything, just really stating my intent, it started raining harder and harder, and the
It
wind
was
started blowing
cleansing you.
stronger. And it was an amazing feel. Like I just got goosebumps again, but it was
Yes.
so amazing. And I just felt afterwards, I was powerful but calm. Like
Yes.
everything had just come back, and I was like, I need to do this more often. And then I put out that after I called everything back, I was also putting out my intentions of like what I want to be drawn into me, the qualities that
Yes.
I need to keep going forward, and what I want to draw in. And then of course ended with gratitude. But it was super amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's
That is
incredible.
powerful.
Yep,
And it
definitely.
doesn't even rain there very much.
Wow. That is
My
amazing.
son
That is
told me that
amazing.
when he was down there for his grandmother's funeral last week, they had a storm, and they don't get rain
Wow.
down there hardly at all.
That is wild. The fact that you wanted to do it in the rain, I feel like is so fascinating too, because it's so like you're naturally like it's almost like your whole being was like, get outside and cleanse yourself. That's some amazing stuff.
It was
You could-
very like, I need to be outside right now. And
Yeah,
it worked
right.
out perfect. Little guy was down for a nap. My daughter was reading in her room, and it just like all came together. And it was just
Yeah.
like, this is ultimately what was meant to be. Like
Oh, that's so
every
amazing.
sign pointed to go.
Yeah. I love that. I love hearing stories like that too. And when you know, when you get that feeling and you just know like that, it's pretty amazing. When you are calling back your energy too, for anybody who wants to try that, some people need visuals, right? So sometimes like to help with the visual, to feel like I'm actually calling it back and it's coming back, I'll almost picture my body. This is going to sound really weird, so bear with me, but I'll almost picture my body as like puzzle pieces, right? And like they're all fitting together in some places, but there's pieces missing in some places. So as I'm calling it back, I'm imagining like a magnetic pull, right? And it's like into place, into place, like all the pieces that are missing or, fractured or whatever they call it. And then I can like see it all happen. And then I know when it's done. Because I don't know, I like that type of structure. So if you want to try that, feel free to try that as well. It's easy too to get stuck in the whole like, is it done? Am I doing it right? And all of that. So if you do that, then you don't have to answer any of those questions. Okay, good. So next I wanted to just talk a little bit about connecting your intuition with the breath. So a good way to do this is called box breathing. And we did talk about this a little bit in the meditation class, but here we're going to take it a step further. We're going to do the box breathing, but in that space, in that pause, like in between, like that hold, right? That's the space I kind of want you to try to like drop into. So we're going to just do a little bit of box breathing together just for a couple minutes so you can kind of feel how that feels. Then once we do it a couple times, what I want you to do is ask your guides for a sign in your body for yes, and then a sign in your body for no. If you don't get anything, that's fine. Don't feel any pressure, but just make sure you're aware of all of your senses. Because it might not be a feeling. It might be something that pops into your mind, like a word. It might be yes or no. It might be, the image pops into your mind of, somebody doing a thumbs up, or, whatever is positive for you. For me, it's very subtle. And the best way I can describe it is, it feels like my energy is smiling, and I'll feel it kind of coming out of my stomach. So it feels like my energy is coming out and smiling. These things are really hard to describe, but I just don't want, because for me, when I first started all this, I was really looking for these signs. I was like, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything, because I'm looking for something so definite that it's so unmistakable. That's what it is. But that is just not how these things work. That's why we need to work on making ourselves more sensitive to all of the things. So this is just going to be another exercise to kind of get you into that sensitive space and just noticing. This is why mindfulness is so important. Noticing any differences, a heaviness in the energy. Maybe you feel something on one side and not the other. So just being aware to all of those things. So is everyone okay to practice this now? Sweet. All right. So what I'm going to do to just try to keep everybody on the count is I'll just tap my pen. Can everybody hear this? How about this? Really? This sound thing is really good, or noise canceling. Where's my microphone? How about here?
No.
That is so crazy. All right. So can you hear this?
No.
Oh my God.
Just your
All right.
voice.
So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. That's really funny. Okay. So just take a minute to get yourself all settled and situated. We want to have both feet planted on the floor. And I'm just going to take a minute to call our guides in to work with us today. So Spirit, we're opening up to you. Please come in and help us with our exercises today. Help us know you're here. Help us feel that you're here. And help us in the best ways that only you know, we need. Do the things that you know that we need to help us get to where we want to be, to help us know and have confidence that you are here and that you are helping us. Okay. All right, so here we go. You can do this with your eyes opened or closed, whatever you're more comfortable doing, or you can try it for both things. But we're going to start breathing in for 4. We're going to hold for 4. We're going to breathe out for 4. We're going to hold for 4. If this gets too tough, or you feel like you're really struggling catching your breath, just slow it down, slow it down. You don't have to keep on pace if you're struggling. Sometimes our ego will try to, resist, it's trying to keep us, on that human story. So if it starts to get tough just in the beginning, see if you can fight through it. But if it gets where you're really struggling to actually breathe, then stop the practice altogether. All right, so here we go. We're breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. Hold. 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. and hold. Breathe out and hold. Last time, breathe in and hold. Breathe out and hold. All right, deep breath in, blow it all out. Just letting your breath fall back to its natural rhythm here. You should feel like your energy is quite a lot more settled than when we started. So just being mindful of all of the energy you feel around you. Do you feel the energy moving around your body? Try to find your heartbeat. Can you feel your heartbeat radiating throughout your body? Now that you're feeling for that heartbeat inside your body, try to place your awareness right outside of your body. Do you feel the energy kind of floating around your body? You might still feel it like a heartbeat, like a whoosh, whoosh. Really dropping into that space. Okay, now I'm calling your guides right into your energy, right next to you. See if you feel a shift there. So guides, please come stand right behind your person. Let them feel your presence. Turn up your energy so that they can really feel you. And guys, we just want to stay as aware as possible, any shifts that we feel. And guides, can you please give your person a sign for when you are close? So they know when they feel this, you're there. Thank you. And can you do it again just so that they can confirm one more time? Do that now, please. Guys, if you're not getting it, that's completely fine. Completely fine. Be easy on yourself. The second we start judging ourselves and telling ourselves how awful we are putting a block directly up in front of us getting anywhere. Treat yourself with love and compassion and just know that your guide is standing right behind you and they want to work with you. Okay, so now I want you to just in your mind, talk to your own guides and just tell them that you would like a sign for yes, so that if you ask them a question, they can communicate with you with this feeling. So ask them now, what is your sign for yes? Okay. And one more time, just ask them to show you again, just confirm this sign for yes. Sometimes it helps if you wait to feel that sign to the out breath, asking on the in breath, and then feeling for it on the out breath, or in the space in between breaths. Everybody will feel this differently. However you feel it is perfect. Your guides know how you communicate best. They know the best ways that they can reach you. And then I want you to ask them, what is your sign for no? So if you ask a question and the answer is no, what will you feel? Just thanking your guides, really being grateful that they're giving you these messages. And then just one more time asking, give me that sign for no. One more time. And when you feel confident in what your yes and no answers are, you can open up your eyes and just write them down so that you don't forget. And our guides are going to stay here with us to continue to work with us for the rest of class. And whoever is finished and wants to share what they got for yes and no, feel free to unmute yourself and share with us what you got.
I got a yes with my baby finger, my left hand twitching.
Nice.
And for my right, for no, on my right thigh, it was twitching.
Love it. I love it. That's a good one, a twitch. I wish I got a twitch. How about anybody else?
For my no, I felt that a little bit stronger, maybe because I don't like to be told no, just be real. But like a left spot on my back that does not hurt was like a little warm, like burning sensation, but not bad, like a warm fizzle. And then my yes is a little bit distorted. It's like a lightheaded feeling, but
Yeah.
my wind chime was also doing it at the same time.
Wow.
And I asked a few different times.
Yeah. Did it do it each time?
And it did it each time.
You're a Pisces, aren't
Huh?
you? Are you a Pisces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's but like I feel like in that sense it's the wind chime because I can hear it.
Yeah.
But like maybe the lightheadedness when maybe the wind chime isn't there is why I'm getting two things.
Most definitely. As a Pisces, you are so plugged in. Your signs are probably going to be a lot more intense than a lot of other people's. So if it ever gets too too uncomfortable for you, you can always ask them to make it a little less, just so you know.
Okay.
And for anybody else that watches later, you are in control 1,000,000%. If your guides give you something and like, okay, so someone I was working with before, she used to, as soon as she connected she was practicing mediumship. And as soon as she was connecting to the departed loved one, she would feel how they passed. And sometimes when she was connecting with people who passed in a bad way, she was feeling a lot of pain and she didn't want to, like, it made her to the point where she's like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. But all she did was ask her guides that, she didn't want to feel that. It was too intense for her, and it stopped. And she started getting the other abilities. Now she's more clairvoyant. But we are always in control. Our guides, we have to ask. That's the only thing. We have free will. They are not allowed by the laws of the universe to step in unless we ask. So sometimes, we forget that it's that easy. So I always like to say that, because even myself, like, I'll be like, oh, this is so frustrating. And my boyfriend will have to be like, well, did you ask? And I'm like, no, darn it. I'm great at the giving of advice. So now I want you guys to think of a question, something that's yes or no, that you can now ask your guides and get that yes or no answer, something that you're struggling with in your life, something that you need answers for in your life now, and see if you can get that response. And when you're finished, go ahead and unmute and you can share what you got. And anybody who still wanted to share their yes and no response, I'm sorry, I kind of cut that off. So feel free to do that as well.
I got a response that I wasn't, I was kind of disappointed in.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Do you want to
Yeah.
share about it?
Well, I've been trying to get some money from my RIF account, and it's been like 3 weeks now. And today I spoke to the manager about the situation, because I've spoken to about 4 people up to this point.
Yeah.
And the question was, will I be getting my money soon? And it came back that no, I would not be getting my money soon.
I'm sorry. So maybe try asking this next. Ask if there's anything that you can do to change that answer.
Okay.
Part of the beauty of, delving into these abilities is with this foresight, we get to change these outcomes that we don't like. So sometimes it's hard to remember that when we're stuck in the situation or in the emotion, but always remember, or try to remember, to ask, if there's anything we can do to help the situation or change the outcome if it's an unfavorable outcome.
I got some good responses. I
Good.
did just ask a bunch of questions. I was like, oh, I'm
Good.
feeling this.
Yes.
But they came back with good responses. So that was
Very
good.
awesome.
Yeah, that was
And you were confident in what you were feeling.
yes.
I love it.
And some of it was me taking ownership in my part of what is going on.
Right.
My daughter she'll be 11, and we're having some communication. And so I was asking if, is this going to get better between us?
Right.
And there was a yes. And it was, do I have the strength to keep working on this? And there was an outstanding yes, because
good.
children are not easy. She is my second one. I have 3 altogether, but
Right.
my oldest is a boy, and it is different raising a girl. So it was just nice, and it was like a relaxed feeling of like, am I on the right path? And another astounding yes of this is the
wonderful.
right path for all of that. So
Yes.
we try to do better for our children. And so if I can, do my best with, in what I can,
That's all we
I'm
can do,
happy.
right? That is like
Yeah.
all we can do. And I don't know you personally, but everything I know about you, I think you're an amazing mother. Oh, Amy left. I was just going to call on her. Okay. So does anybody else want to share what they got for their yes or no's, or anything that they wanted to ask, or anything they asked? Anything?
I have a question I wanted to share.
Yes.
Is there also an option for like a sign for yes and a sign for no, but can there also be a sign for a maybe?
Absolutely. So part of what we're going to do as we keep going is we're going to be building what's called a symbol library. And this is going to be basically our language to use with our guides, with our intuition. Because I really believe that like our guides speak to us through our intuition. Like they might be two things, but they work hand in hand. Like we get intuitive hits, and maybe that comes from our guides. I mean, there's no way to actually really know, but that's just what I think. But yes, you can start a notebook. If you want to start doing that now, since you already have your yes and no, you can ask what is maybe. I'm going to recommend a book too, which is, I think, packed away, but I think it's just called, let me look. I think it's called Psychic Symbols. But that has a really great list that you can just kind of go down that list while you're sitting with your guide and just be like, if I see an apple, what would that mean? If I see a car, what would that mean? And you're basically just building this almost like sign language, I guess.
It's almost conscious streams.
Conscious streams. What do you mean?
Well, it's saying if an apple means something, it's like in a dream interpretation.
Yes.
An apple could mean something in your dreams, but this is you're consciously getting the message.
But they're coming from your subconscious, right? Which is kind of where your dreams will come from as well.
Okay.
So this is the book I was talking about. It's called The Book of Psychic Symbols. If anybody wants to check that out. The back has like a full list of, common symbols and meanings, but then you can also I don't recommend anybody take the book and make that their symbol library. Still sit with your guides, make sure that's what, the same for you, because it might be different. Like, if you have, I'm just thinking, but if you have a bad memory of something, like let's say a rose, right? A rose for many people might mean love or a date or something like that. But let's say you, had roses thrown at your head, and every time you see a rose, you think like disaster. Then your symbol for rose might be different than, the traditional symbol. So just being aware of that. But we are going to get more into this. I actually will take 2 classes to start building your symbol library with you. And it's really fun. Yeah.
Danielle,
Yes.
I posed the question again, but I got no answer.
Okay. All right. So what was your question was, is there anything I can do? Right?
Yes.
And you didn't get the yes or the no.
I got nothing.
Nothing. Okay. So what I might do in that case is whenever I don't get anything, it does happen. I'll try to settle my energy again. So I'll take some deep breaths, and then I'll call my guide back in. I'll make sure my awareness is where it needs to be. I'm in my body. And then if I'm still not getting anything, then I start to look for, I'll ask my guide to let me know in, the real world, like just let me know as I go throughout my day, and you'll get a sign or symbol as you're going throughout your day that will help to answer your question. We just have to be aware of them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think too is that Carrie was talking, and of course I was hearing her voice in my my headset sort of thing. And so that I finally took my headset off, but still it was nothing.
Yeah. When we get taken out of it like that too, sometimes it's challenging to go right back in, but that is something that we're going to be able to do by the end of all of this. You're going to be able to get yourself back into that state like that. As long as you continue practicing the meditations and all of that, you're going to be perfect. If you guys, if you're really serious about getting into this type of work, I really recommend meditating every day. That's going to be the biggest way that you grow. Or the quickest, maybe, let's say, because what we have to do is get used to our energy, right? So if something comes into our energy that's not ours, we'll know. So the biggest part of that is learning our energy enough. Does that make sense?
Can you also sort of like, instead of meditating, can you also instead do prayers?
You can do it as long as you're practicing your attention, right? So we're just practicing keeping our attention on one thing, quieting our minds so that spirit can, or our intuition can put those things in. So if we can practice quieting, so you could do mindfulness exercises too, like body scans or like any type of awareness, mindfulness practice can be good too.
Okay.
If you're praying, a lot of times you're talking, so your mind's not quiet. So although that is a great way to like practice, focusing, right? Because you're just focusing on the one thing, getting to the point where you can also not be thinking anything. We want to try to train our minds to be quiet. And it takes time. It's not something that's easy. The beginning is certainly not comfortable. Our body fights back like in a big way.
Yeah, well, I think it's because of the busyness of our lives, but
Yes.
I don't have a problem of just resting, and then this is how God talks to me.
Yeah,
Whereas my prayers, I'm talking to him.
exactly.
So
The way you just said that was beautiful. Absolutely.
yeah, and that I can do that, and he'll give me solutions to whatever situations I'm finding myself in.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. So if you're already getting those messages, then your mind is already trained to get quiet. So then in your case, the more often you do it, the quicker you'll shift that awareness. It's all about just shifting, right? It's all happening simultaneously around us all at the same time, I feel like. It just depends what channel we're tuned into. Like when we're here, we can't be there. So if we can build our focus enough to put it over here and stay there for long enough, we can get a lot more information.
I have a question.
I feel like it's always something you have to just keep doing, right? Like
Mhm.
we're never at the end.
Thank you, Danielle.
You are so welcome.
And like as we do that and we practice, and yes, we got like a yes and no right now and wrote them down, but like as we grow with it, is it a good idea or to like check back in with our guides to see if that yes and no are the same? Like, do you feel that can change, or will it
Well,
probably stay the same?
it'll probably stay the same. And I do feel like sometimes we have to resist the urge to
Mhm.
like go back and be like, are you sure? What is it now? Because in those spaces, we can just be adding more, right? Instead of going back. So like the hardest thing is to build confidence and trust so where we don't have to do that anymore, but it'll happen naturally. The more you get to know your guides. Andrea too, what you could do is just build that relationship with your God or your guides or like whoever it is that you're communing with, because the closer you build that bond too, the more you're going to get and the more you're going to feel. And the faster you'll be shifting, because they'll just be right there. It's like you guys are like, carving out like a line of communication that'll be easy, where it's like easy give and take. So that's an important piece too. Just meditating with our guide. Like sometimes I won't even say anything or ask anything. I just call them in so I can feel their energy, because I want to start getting used to, like where I'm at right now is I'm trying to get used to the different energies of my guides. So I'll call one in and then have them step out. And then I'll call the next one in, have them step out, just so I can feel who's here. And like, there's so many things that we can do, like, on this path. Like I said, we are completely limitless. We can do anything that we want, that if we believe and we put our mind to it and we trust. So it's kind of cool, because then we can like really, test ourselves, like going down the line. Like, let's see if we approach this with a childlike excitement, we are golden, right? With a grateful heart and a childlike excitement. Like that's what raises our vibration, love and gratitude and excitement, like all of those good feelings. So what, when we get further, what I'll do too, if I forget, remind me, but what I'll do too, when we start like trying to get information, is have us all like hum or sing in the beginning of the class, because that raises our vibration in a really, really big way. And the spirit world loves that when we sing.
A question: if you have multiple guides, will they each have different signs, or will the sign be the same for all of them?
So in the beginning, you'll probably just get a similar feeling for all of them, because a lot of times too, they come in as a guide team, right? So like now that you're opening up, these abilities, you might actually get a new guide that comes in, because we're going to have a different guide for all of the different things we do. Like when I started getting into mediumship, I met a completely different guide, but my other ones are still there. I just have a bigger team.
Okay, now that's
that
with
answer your
feelings.
question?
What kinda? Now I got images instead of feelings. So would that still be the same basis, or like I got
Definitely.
tall, slender trees for yes and mountains for no?
I love
So
that. So your symbols are going to be the same for all of your guides. They might
Okay.
feel different, like when they step into your energy, but your symbol library, this is the cool part. So your main guide, or whatever guide you're working with to build this symbol library, will now brief all of the other guides and anybody else that you go to communicate with. This is how she gets information. If you want to give her a yes or no, use that. If you want to,
Yeah.
like that type of thing. So that's like good to know. That was a good question. Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. And I actually, little off topic here, but ever since I was little, I always believed that like all the gods, like God, Zeus, whoever else there is, would like once a month get together for a poker game in the sky and just
I love
hang
that.
out. So I
Oh
love
my
how,
God, I love
just I
that
love how
so
you
much.
explained that.
I just love that so much. That is amazing. Very cool. I would
Thank
love to
you.
go drop in on that poker game. That would be fun.
Right.
Don't piss Zeus off.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about anything that we were just talking about at all? Okay. So I am going to run to the bathroom real quick before we start body talk. Actually, let me just show you this real fast first. We talked about shielding and protecting, but I did officially put a couple options like in these handouts for you to work on your own, just so you know exactly what to say. There's 2 different options here. And as always, feel free to be creative and put your own spin or twist on things, because ultimately it has to feel right to you for it to be effective. Candle gazing and manifesting is also in here, but we'll do another workshop for that too. All right, so I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick and then we'll get started with body talk. All right. All right, so let's see if you guys can hear if I play music, because this noise canceling thing is pretty amazing. What? All right, let's see if you can hear that. Can you hear that at all?
It's a bit choppy.
That's so frustrating. Okay, so if you guys want music, if music will help you rest like and relax and get into that space, feel free to just play some on your own. If you're going to do that, there's some really good, and they help you they really help you get into that space. It's 432 hertz. It's like a very healing and releasing frequency. It helps you really drop down. So you guys can always do that, or I'll just guide you through it. And then we will talk about it at the end here. So I just want to explain exactly what we're doing. So this exercise is going to give a voice to various parts of your body. It allows the mind to dialogue with these parts of the body. So we're connecting the mind and the body, which is really important to do in this type of work. So I want you to begin by laying down or just getting comfortable sitting, but you have to have a pen and paper ready because you're just going to be jotting things down as you're getting them, as you're receiving these messages from your body. All right. So is everybody ready, or do you need me to wait while you're finding music?
I'm okay, but I don't have any music.
Okay. Do you think that'll be okay, or will you struggle?
I think I'll be fine.
Okay. All right. So let's just start by calming our energy as usual. We'll take a couple deep breaths in through the nose, and then blowing it out through the mouth, nice and slow. Trying to make that out breath twice as long as the in breath. When we do this, it really helps to settle our nervous system, which in turn really helps to settle our mind. One more big, deep, full breath in, hold and out, nice and slow. Really feeling yourself just sink into your body. Sink into the chair that you're sitting on. Just checking if there's any tension left in your body anywhere. And if there is, just releasing that on the exhale. And throughout this meditation, you can just stay focused on the sound of my voice. And if that is a challenge, feel free to just focus on your breath going in and out. So for this exercise, I want you to pretend that your body is a corporation and you are a visiting consultant. You're sent to interview the workers about how they feel about their job and their position in the company. Each body part is a member of the corporation. So we will work our way from our feet to our face. After I name a part of the body, you will begin with, I am, if we start with our feet, you're going to say, I am my feet and I. And you're going to complete this with an emotional experience. I am my feet and I feel the weight of the world is on me. I am my belly and I feel afraid. I am my head and I run the show. Sometimes one part of the body will want to tell the whole story. And sometimes it might feel numb, and that's okay. If that happens, we'll just switch right over it. All right. So we're going to start with our feet. So just focusing on your feet, really breathing into that space. Just saying in your mind, I am my feet and I. Remember to complete it with an emotional experience. I am my legs and I. I am my hips and I. Really feeling into these body parts and just being open to whatever message you receive here. I am my belly, and I am my back, and I. And now your chest. So interviewing your chest. What does your chest say? I am my chest, and I. And next is your arms. How do your arms feel? And then how about your hands? How do your hands feel working for this corporation? And your shoulders. How do your shoulders feel? I am my neck, and I. I am my face, and I. How does your face feel about working for this corporation? And last but certainly not least, I am my head, and I. Who wants to go first here? Now that we're done and the whole body's had a chance to speak, I want you guys to reread back what you have written, leaving out the actual body parts. So in the example we were using earlier, you would say, I feel that the weight of the world is on me. I feel afraid. I am running the show. I feel numb. Who wants to go first here?
Can you move the screen so it shows all the different parts and then we could just work with what it is that you're feeling?
Well, you are going to have, so what is on the screen here is not what you're going to be saying. You're going to be
No.
leaving out the body parts. So instead of saying, I am my feet and I feel like the weight of the world is on me, you would just say, I feel that the weight of the world is on me. So we are getting these emotional responses from our body because this is part of the underlying issues of what's going on with us. Your
Yeah.
body when communicating that.
The only thing, this is sort of like a guideline is to know what it is I chose it because I haven't written it down.
I got you. Okay. So all you'll have to do is, I guess, just read what you wrote then, because you're going to leave out the body parts. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Is that good how I have it now?
Yep.
Okay.
I can go.
What was that?
I I feel heavy.
Mm.
I feel weak. I feel in pain. I feel content. I feel uncomfortable. So I adjusted myself so I feel more comfortable.
Nice.
Um, I feel heavy again or tight.
Yeah.
I feel strong. I feel cold. I feel strong again. I feel comfortable. I feel stoic. This is the word that came to me in my thought at the time.
Yeah.
And I feel intelligent.
I love that. I love that. Okay.
Totally honest.
But yeah, I love that, right? We have to get raw, right? We have to in order to open this part of us up. So what you would do now is go back to the parts that seem the most significant. And on your own, you'll create a journal entry and have a dialogue with that part that needs attention. So you might say something like, so chest, you feel constricted and empty. What would make you feel fuller? Now you already started doing this because you were making the adjustments when you needed to. And then it would be like, so stomach, you feel like you need to be big to be noticed. How does it feel to be big and full? How does it feel to be empty? The stomach might answer, it feels scary when I'm empty. So then what you'll do is just journal about these responses. This really helps to build that almost like an automatic writing type of connection, with your mind and body, and things will just start to flow out of you. You can call your guides in to try to make it a little bit clearer if you want. I mean, and this is something we could definitely go into together, but only if you're comfortable, because these things tend to get pretty deep and personal. So it's completely up to you if you'd rather do it on your own, or we can do it with you.
I think this is a good way for us to start listening to our bodies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is the whole point of like building this dialogue, right? Like now we know they talk, right? They have their own feelings.
Our
All right.
in-house pets.
Yes. Does anybody else want to share anything that they got?
I'll go next.
Okay, awesome.
Feel rough and tired. Feel restless. Okay, before I can go on, I would please be noted, I am not exactly good at describing feelings.
Totally fine.
I want to show off and move.
That's good.
Feel neglected. I feel shrunken. I hurt. I want to carry more books. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that feeling is. Just want to do. I like want to do something, I guess.
Yeah, but you're going with it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Can't read my own writing here. That's great.
I do that to myself all the time too.
I want to do less. I'm not treated well. I feel constricted. Happy. I feel happy. And I am overworked.
That was really good. So then you would go, like we were talking about, you'd find whichever parts of the body that are most significant, that most needs to work that out. And then you would do the journal entry, creating that dialogue between, your body and whatever that entry was. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kind of like a right hand, left hand writing exercise. Like your dominant hand's you conscious and your left hand is less not dominant and as your subconscious, and like that would be who you're talking to
Kind
in a
of,
way?
yeah, kind of. So you can still use your dominant hand to write. What you're going to do is let the information kind of flow through you. So
Okay.
we can work through one together if you'd like. Like I said, I'm
Sure.
not going to push anybody to do that because it can get personal. Okay.
I'm up for it.
You what?
I'm up for it.
Okay,
I
cool.
can.
So which one do you feel like is most significant for you?
I'm overworked.
I'm overworked. And was that your head?
Yeah.
Okay. So you might say something like, so head, you feel overworked. What would make you feel better? Or how does it, let's start with this. How does it make you feel to be overworked?
Tired.
Tired. Perfect.
Yeah.
So head, what could you do to feel like you're not being overworked? What changes do you need?
Slow down.
To slow down. And head, how could you slow down? What would make you slow down?
By doing less.
Definitely. Maybe meditation too. Like different
Yeah.
exercises that might help. I know it always comes back to meditation.
It's useful.
Yeah, definitely. But any activities like that could actually slow you down, get you being mindful, maybe like the Zentangle drawings or something like that would be really helpful for your head to feel that.
Last week when we did the Zentangle, my head didn't actually shut up.
Didn't? No way.
No. No.
Oh my goodness. I'm so shocked. So I want to figure out why.
I know. I know, like all the way through it, a friend actually told me about Zentangle before the class, like last year he told me about it, that he does it. And all the way through it, I was thinking, I should tell him that I'm doing it now. It actually is really relaxing. And I've been thinking, wow, this is really relaxing as I am thinking that and excited about it, which is not relaxing.
That's okay. No, that's totally okay. So we're never going to get to the point as human beings where it's totally 100% quiet at all times. We're always going to get these thoughts that come in. But what you could do that might help you narrow down your focus might be just like really focusing on each marking that you're making, like mindfully doing each thing. I'm going like this, or focusing on your breath. Maybe something like that might help. It is tough when you have one of those minds that never stops. Like you really have to get creative with like different ways to pull yourself out of the overthinking. It's almost like we need to find, our way to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if
Yeah.
our minds are always going, it's going to be really difficult for us to like get this type of information, to connect with higher consciousness. Like we have to figure out how to just shut it off for a little while. And it's training, right? Like this is only training. We're training for the big stuff, right? Like we have to start the training with figuring out a way to get out of our own way.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because I mean, I even have a hard time falling asleep. It takes me like a half hour because my brain won't stop. I'm thinking what I did, what I'm going to do tomorrow, and everything else, and or even just imagining random stuff. And it actually takes me imagining myself in bed, cuddling with a stuffed animal or something, or my dog, just to make my mind quiet enough to be able to fall asleep. But it's still on by imagining that.
Yeah, but I just love that. That's amazing. And it works for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Look up, if you have time, just go on YouTube and look up, it's called HemiSync, HEMI-SYNK. These are kind of like binaural beats that will help, they actually help to balance like the energy in your brain, like the left and the right side become more in balance. And when that happens, so I listen to this every night when I go to sleep, just because like I have terrible ADD too. My mind's always going. So I'm always looking for new things that can help like create that balance. This stuff's really pretty amazing.
Okay, I'll have to give it a
on
try.
in my headphones at night. They have like 8-hour long ones, so you can leave it in all night. I've noticed
Okay.
when it shuts off, it'll wake me up. Like I've like need it now.
There's
Okay.
a natural tablet that can be taken at night before going to bed, and it's called melatonin.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And like
Definitely.
they have like 3 milligrams, that's all you need to start, and then they
Yeah,
go up to
that's a good point.
6. But if all else fails, so it relaxes you in about 20 minutes and you're asleep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's
that
no
stuff.
nightmares, there's no nothing. You just sleep. It's a natural body hormone is what
Yep.
it is, and we lack that as we get older.
Andrea, have you ever, because I remember I've taken that before, but I felt like maybe I just took too much, but I felt like the next day I was groggy. Does that ever happen to you with that?
I take so many drugs for stuff. It's hard for me to
Yeah,
say
you're not sure.
to pinpoint it to exactly that. Like I
Yeah,
say,
right.
I'm on a lot of medications. So,
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
and I still wake up every couple hours through the night for some various reason, for whether it's like I'm
Oh, that's a
uncomfortable,
sin.
or I gotta go to the bathroom, or I gotta blow my nose, or I got a cough. It's so many different things that wakes me up through the night.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so frustrating. That's been happening to me a lot lately, the waking up all night long. It's very frustrating. Um, does anybody else want to share anything else that they got, or their yes or no responses, or want to work through one of these things?
I'll
Ah.
share my feelings. I just got to my daughter's school, so I can read my paper now.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
So let me see if I'm going to do this right with everybody. Um, so dance free. I try to stay on the path. Sway like the wind. A whirlwind of all. Strong and tired. Love. Reaching out. A
Reaching out for
tingling.
what?
My arms are reaching out.
Reaching, but are they reaching for something?
Nope, I just got reaching out.
Okay, okay. I was just curious. You know me, I like to push.
I know. I know where that's coming from. So
Okay,
yeah, that's like, it's reaching out, but it's like branches in the wind that I will catch what needs to be caught.
okay,
So I am reaching out like, what do you need? It's reaching for, like, reaching out to catch what everybody needs.
okay. And
That's
what
like,
you need. And what you need, right?
we're working on that. We're working on
Okay.
it. We're working on that.
Okay.
I know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
And then my hands tingle with healing.
Mm.
Shoulders hold heavy and strong. My neck bends. I have to turn my page.
Okay.
Sorry. My face
So you're
shows
gonna,
all.
well, let's leave the face out. So you're just gonna say I.
Oh, I show all.
Okay.
And I am open, light, and want more.
I love it. I love it. Very good. That was amazing. Next, if you ever decide to do this again, I'm going to challenge you to really get in touch with the emotions behind all of those things. And I want you to go deeper next time. Like,
Okay.
get that emotion. I am my feet and I, whatever. You know what I mean?
There's
That
a
was
lot of
really good.
background noise.
What's that?
There's a lot of background noise.
Yeah, she's picking up her daughter.
Oh.
But that was amazing. Carrie, thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Of course, of course.
I come to a conclusion why I was getting no yes or no to the question about anything that I can do.
Okay.
And
What do you
it came back, and it came to a realization is that the manager I spoke to, he was going to take care of it and call me by 5 o'clock.
Okay.
It's over 5 o'clock now, so I guess it's going to be taking longer than that, but there's really nothing I can do right now. So it's an answer that I did
Right.
get.
Right. That's true. Yeah. That was a good thought. That was very mindful that you got that. So what do you guys think about this exercise? Do you guys have any more questions? Do you feel like this is helpful? I feel like it'll be more helpful for you too, as you like really sit and have that dialogue. It'll be very like freeing in a way.
Yes, I love it.
I
Maybe
think
I
it's
just
a
want
good
to dig
tool.
that.
What was that?
I think it's a good tool.
Yeah, definitely a good tool. Definitely a good tool. All right, guys. Well, you guys did amazing. You know, it can be a challenge to really open up, you know, this dialogue, because it's really getting us, it's getting deeper, right? We're going deeper inside ourselves. We're getting, you know, to some spots that for some people are pretty uncomfortable. So I just want to like congratulate all of you for like starting this dialogue. It's not always easy. You guys are amazing and you're killing it. And I could not be happier to be working with each and every one of you. So thank you again for being here.
Thank
And
you
for
for the
working so hard.
facilitation.
What's that?
Thank you so much for the facilitation.
You are so welcome. I enjoy this very much. Does anybody have any other questions before I shut off the recording? All right. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here today. And I will see you guys next week for, I'm not 100% sure. I have to go check, but we will be doing something fun.
Thank you.